Hey guys, it is Echo here, and I am back for another 911 Lone Star episode review. Today we're going to be talking about Season 5, Episode 4, titled My Way. And we're mainly going to talk about Tommy and Paul this week, so let's get started.
Mom?
Cassie, are you all right?
I'm not sure. Did you put something in my food?
What? Seriously?
I feel funny. You did something to me, didn't you?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Nobody put anything in your...
So Tommy has Trevor's ex-wife over for dinner for the wedding, and it does not go well. First, she gets accused of poisoning Melody. Not sure if you remember last season when Melody was trying to prevent Trevor and Tommy from being together, and Tommy made that weird concoction. Well, that's the reference. Well, now Cassandra is throwing up at the dinner table and claiming Tommy's food poisoned her. Y'all, Tommy is an angel, and no way she would ever do anything like that.
Okay, what are you guys suggesting?
Sabotage?
Sabotage? Okay, so you're saying that she did this to herself. Why would she do that?
Perhaps to construct a narrative?
A narrative? What narrative?
That at best, you are an unfit parent whose living conditions are less than sanitary, and at worst, you're an attempted murderer.
Yeah, it really helps building sympathy with the kid, too.
Exactly, because...
For Tommy being a paramedic, she surprisingly seemed to know little about food poisoning in this episode. Like, girl, if Cassandra had gotten food poisoning from your food that everyone else at the dinner had ate, they would all be sick. Even I knew that, and I'm not a paramedic. But I love how much of a family TNT is. Tommy is like a mom, and TK and Nancy are like siblings ganging up on their mom, helping their mom to see that maybe Cassandra is trying to sabotage. That maybe she made herself sick on purpose so the whole dinner would fail and Tommy wouldn't get her blessing to marry Trevor. I mean, it's certainly logical at this point. Melody has acted that way before. Maybe she got her traits from her mom. Anyways, this idea makes Tommy take things in her own hands. Cassandra is now staying at Tommy's house, so Tommy borrows a baby monitor with record feature, basically to spy on her.
Okay. Yeah, of course, yes, I understand. I'll be there right away.
Cap, everything okay?
Izzy just got suspended. They found her with a weed pen.
What?
Izzy?
I don't believe that.
No, I know. She would never do something like this.
But I know someone who would.
Sabotage.
Well, that was a shock. After a long call involving lots of blood and getting stuck in an elevator, Tommy gets a call from the school saying Izzy got suspended for having a weed pen. I mean, Izzy, really? There's no way. So of course we have to think that Cassandra did something again to make Tommy look like she's a bad mother. Although poor Izzy, getting suspended for something that she didn't do, I hope after this whole situation blows over that Tommy was able to talk to the school and get her unsuspended.
Where did you get a weed pen?
Some kid at school. I promise I never tried it.
Melody, did you have something to do with making your mother sick?
I put eye drops in your wine.
Why on earth would you do that?
I thought that if you believed Miss Tommy was a bad mom, that you'd tell Dad that he couldn't marry her and insist that I move back to Kansas with you.
So, plot twist. It was Melody that put the eye drops in her mom's wine to make her sick. It was also Melody who slipped the weed pen in Izzy's bag. Turns out Melody wants to go back to live with her mom, and she thought the way to do that would be to get Cassandra to not give Tommy her blessing, because Melody didn't want to make Tommy feel bad. Poor Tommy. But also in a way, I do feel bad for Melody. I was lucky that my parents have always been together, but I know many kids aren't so lucky. I couldn't imagine being Melody having to live in one state with her dad while her mom is in another state. So I can feel for her. I do think Melody should have talked to her parents though, instead of doing what she did.
One of the reasons I fell in love with you was because of your involvement and devotion to Melody. If your daughter moves back to Kansas, I don't see a world where you don't move back with her.
Would you ever consider relocating to Topeka?
I can't do that to my girls.
I didn't think so.
I am devastated at this breakup, but I also get it. A child deserves to have both their parents. Would Trevor be the best father he can be living far away from his daughter? I'm not so sure. Tommy would do anything for her kids, so she also gets it. She gets that Trevor is going to need to move back, but it still sucks. Trevor allowed Tommy to love again, something she never thought she could have after losing Charles. But, you know, Lone Star likes to throw twists and curveballs at us, so hopefully they will come up with a solution and we will see them back together again sometime this season. Now, let's move on and chat about Paul.
Nobody had to do a chore that they didn't want to do.
Cool. And how would that work?
Well, somebody else would sign up for it.
Like who?
Like me.
You? Why would you volunteer for the crappy stuff?
Yeah, that's the whole point of being an LT is you get to assign out the crappy stuff to everybody else.
Starting today, we're embracing a new paradigm.
And what paradigm would that be?
One of a servant leader.
From Paul's very first day, he decides that he is going to lead differently. The night before, he had a nightmare, leading him to believe that his new leadership role was going to cost him all his friends. So when he gets to his first shift as lieutenant, he wipes the board clean for chores. And he tells everyone they can volunteer for chores, and he'll do the ones that people don't volunteer for. From the start, we can see that he's going to struggle with delegating. And you see that many times in this episode. For example, when he goes into the rat-infested house himself to obtain the woman's purse, to when he carries that very heavy piece of equipment up 17 flights of stairs to rescue the paramedics who were trapped in an elevator. All of these tasks he could have easily given to one of the other firefighters.
What are you doing here, man? Our shift don't start for another 2 hours.
Why are you here, Proby?
I'm here to help my new lieutenant knock off some of the many chores he gives himself to do.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You didn't have to do that. I'm good, man.
Here you go. Let me help you out.
I got it, man. I don't want you to get grease all over your civvies. Come on.
Well, that'd be better than if you broke your damn back.
Relax. I'm not gonna break my back, man.
So yep, Paul did too much and he hurt his back. I was definitely a little nervous at first that he was having heart issues again, but it was just his back, thankfully. He came in early to clean the ladder because no one else signed up for the chore. And even when Judd, who is a probie, offered to help, Paul refuses his help. Paul has this mentality that he can do everything by himself. He doesn't need help, which probably stems from being trans and maybe not having anyone in his circle to back him up during the day. But now he has friends that are willing to step up and help and support him. All he needs to do is let them in.
When I got the guts to ask them why, they told me that it was because I'm not really a boy and it was weird for them to be hanging out with me. You know? I mean, I was the same kid that they had been hanging out with all that time before. But now they start to see me differently because my body changed. I lost my best friends. And in my dream, the 126, they turned their backs on me the same way that Kyle and Eric did.
This was my favorite scene of the episode. Paul opening up to Owen about when he was young and losing his friends because he was trans, leading to his fear of losing his current friends now that he's in a position of power. I understand where he's coming from. When I came out as queer, I lost some people in my life. It wasn't easy, but like Paul, I found other friends. Friends who love me for who I am. And I'd be scared to do something that could jeopardize our friendship. And I've been in a leadership position before. I have learned, though, that checking in and listening and communicating and asking how they're doing, both at work and in their personal life, and showing empathy can go a long way. They're more apt to be okay when you delegate tasks to them, when you show them that you care.
Voluntold. Now go. Unless there's something else you want to discuss.
No, sir.
You know what, Lieutenant? There is something I'd like to say, actually.
Go on.
Are you and Asha coming to hang this weekend or what?
You know it, Marge.
And Paul finally took charge. He can't do everything by himself. He needs to delegate. And guess what? Everyone still loves him. The 126 is such a tight-knit group. No matter what happens now and in the future, I truly believe that they will always remain friends. They're also supportive of one another, and they truly care for each other. Paul being lieutenant won't change that. So last week, here was my top 5 favorite 911 Lone Star episodes. In number 1, we had 417 Best of Mun and 418 In Sickness and in Health. In number 2, we had 3-4 Push. In number 3, we had 4-9 Roadkill. In number 4, we had 212 The Big Heat. And in number 5, we had 412 Swipe Left. This episode did not make my top 5. It was an alright episode. I definitely enjoyed watching Paul's growth in the episode. However, the rescues in the rat-infested house, and then the woman having a baby in an elevator, and then going into DIC really grossed me out. Anyways, I'm excited for the next episode. I think we're finally going to get a big Tarlos episode, and I know it will be great. So again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this review. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments what you thought about the episode. And stay tuned for next week's 911 Lone Star episode review.